this is Pigsy doing a video. A couple of odd things actually. So I've been going to a client for a while. I haven't noticed anything particularly strange, but I think in the last month, you know, when I've been upstairs with a client, it sounded like things downstairs. I had the impression something either left the door open or there was a noise down there, and it's like, well, that doesn't sound right. And she said, oh, you're a bit jumpy, so it sounds like someone downstairs. But obviously there's no one there, but it's just got this funny feeling sometimes, and otherwise, okay. And it feels like more recent. I mean, it does have a few things that they've got a few urns in there, and the other thing is death can attract death itself, so there's a kind of residual energy with things, and there's probably entities that feed off that. Gin, and I'm into bones and stuff. I'm into ash, bones, ash, and also shit, basically, feces and stuff, according to some of these references in books. So they feed off like decay energy, if that can be wrapped up. And they do say that it's positive decay. I think in Chinese culture, I mean, you'd think it'd be like a negative thing, but can I travel down the road? Yes, I can. It's got like a chicane thing going on. So yeah, so that's happened a couple of occasions, and then it was the other day I got, because I suffer from tinnitus, ringing in the ears, whatever it is. It's like feedback in your ears, but it's had a really sharp like whine in my ear. And I had left. I'd done something for her because she's partially sighted. So and I just left the room and something fell on the floor. She said, "What was that?" I was like, you know, and I was trying to figure out how it actually fell on the floor, because it wasn't a small thing, it was like a container, but it might have. And within this container, I guess it was a sealed thing. It had these devices in it. And these devices like some sort of massage aid, so they vibrate. There was a comb and stuff. And we sort of joked about it. And we checked them, and only one was working. So I pressed them, none of the others. I said, well, maybe you need new batteries or whatever. And we pressed this like comb-shaped one, nothing happened. And then presses one of them and it was working. And so it demonstrates what it was. And it seems to be sort of funny that the rubber was sort of like sticky, where it's been old. Anyway, so I put it back in the box, went downstairs, and then I think she went to put some rubbish in the hallway, and then she heard something, and she's like, oh, you know, so she called me over, and I thought, oh, it sounds like a bloody old PC fan going into overdrive. But it wasn't. Let's watch what it does, yeah. That's good. It's driving to overdrive with the lights. So yeah, so there's a whirly noise, funny noise coming upstairs. I went upstairs, and the room was dark because it gets darker earlier, and we had the lights on in the room. And so the room it was a dark room, and it was making this buzzing noise. It wasn't in the room with the computer, and it turned out that it was a comb that had activated. Now I was thinking to myself, either it has been like lodged, you know, some sort of grease, whatever's in the mechanisms preventing it from working properly. It could be the battery, maybe moving around, or the battery acid. But why would it be 5 minutes later? I thought that's, you know, it's quite a while for it just to sort of go off on its own. And so I thought, well, maybe it's an entity. And I said, well, you know, you never know, it could be might have a ghost. She could what? Just plant the seed there, like, yeah, well, you never know, she might tell me it keeps on hearing noises, or keeps on hearing something at night, or, you know, weird reactions and stuff. It's just one of the mysteries, really. Why it went off? Was it just, things. Did something else was involved? I mean, if it did, it was helping us out. It's trying to make the actual thing work. However, I got this, like I say, I got a sharp pain in my ears, and that could have been picked up something. It's just a sensitivity he got there. So yeah, and then there was something else weird happened. So last night, it was early hours in the morning, and when did I wake up? It must have been about 6:30 or something. It was still quite dark outside. Anyway, I had this like feeling like a bit disembodied, like I wasn't there. I was in another room, and then I could see. It's very weird. I could see myself in the front room. I think it was like my body alerted another part of my consciousness to a problem, and I think there was an entity there. So I went into. So from the front room, I could see an image of myself in the front room where there was like looking at some crystals and stuff I got there. And then I quickly moved into the bedroom, back to my bedroom. I could see myself going through the bedroom, and it was all dark in there. And as I moved forward, there was a little flash of light, like something had just bumped into something basically, and it had caused it to sort of flash. And then I thought, well, it's moved, and I moved over to it, and it did another little flash. And then I thought, well, I just hit it, so I jabbed it or did something to it, and I could see an image of a skull on it. So I'm trying to figure out if it's like a shadow person or something. But it has a kind of, it's based on a human, because it had a kind of humanish skull in it. It was a skeleton. I'm wondering if it's bones. I mean, if it was a real person that died and it's somehow become some sort of strange death entity. I don't know what it would call that, a black skeleton entity or something. I don't know what it is. It's not, the skeleton wasn't black, but when you hit it, it seemed to light up. It just didn't seem to have that impact when it was just standing there. It was black. Spectral ghost, spectral shadow man, I don't know what it is. He didn't say anything. Basically, I just told it to clear off basically by doing that. Just sort of got in the way of it and pushed into it and stuff. And but it also highlights the fact that people talk about poltergeist and other thing activity, and they talk about getting pushed and physically shoved. They can shove them back. That's what it might be. They might not scream out in pain, but they might not like it. So if you got pushed back and you push them back again, however, they can move really quickly. So if you do sense something near like coldness, you give it a backhand or something, then and just have the intention behind it, give it a good whack. It might not like that. It might think twice of messing with you. And it's like an animal. If it went to bite you and you know, I mean, you countered it, it would think, well, maybe I shouldn't bother to bite you anymore. or whatever might be the situation for whatever reason. So it means they can be affected by our spirit and consciousness. Often we allow fear to take over, and we need to think possibly that how different are we? I mean, dimensionally we're different. We've got this body, we seem to be infused with it, but there's also part of us can be fragmented. So, you know, I didn't feel like I was just in blackness, and then something seemed to alert me, and I found myself, like I say, in my living room, facing towards the little chest I've got on there. I've got my rack in, and there's some crystals laid out on there, and so I didn't know if that was me or it's like a trick, like see an image of yourself and it's not actually you. It was looking at them. And then what was this entity doing, trying to get into my body? I don't know. And then why was it a skeleton? Why was the skeleton inside a shadow? So we whacked it, you see the skeleton shape in it. And also that it interacted with my spirit. So it tells me that it may no longer be human, but it has human origins. And like I mentioned before, if the skeleton was destroyed in this world, if I cremated the skeleton, then would the entity exist? Because it seemed to be under the shadow was like I say a skeleton structure, or was it a jinn? Maybe I attacked a jinn. I mean, I don't mind entities as long as I know they're actually there. If they're doing bizarre things to me at night, or trying to touch me and fiddle about me, I thought, what on earth's going on? It could be because I just seem so weird compared to them. So what are they? That's you know, they're so curious. It's like when I used to hear knives and forks move at night and things in my kitchen, I was thinking, well, they're not that bloody interesting. I mean, are they analysing what I eat? Definitely comes across as a kind of alien interest. Do you indicate? Let's go. So I have to look into it, but also I've got that staff next to my bed, and it's got a ram's head, a ram's skull, and some crystals in it, and all sorts of things. It might be acting like a kind of divining rod or something for certain energies. I mean, I can feed off it. It just kind of acts like a battery, really. I mean, I can kind of sense something, we can get some kind of energy out of it, so it builds up some charge in there. A bit like things building up static, so don't know. There's some other project work. I'm trying to get somebody I know who's a friend, and he lives near me basically. I wouldn't mind taking him to a graveyard. He does like a medium work, he's done Reiki, he can feel energies, he can communicate to the dead, different things. I mean, mainly use the skills so he could talk to I think his sort of family, past family and stuff. And like I say, sensing energy and doing these kind of things he's sort of interested in. He does some Qigong. Whether he practices it still, I don't know. He's fairly busy. So the internal arts he does a bit of that. It'd be interesting to see his take on, like if you went to a graveyard, could you sense energies? I think he'd be freaked out though if he picks up something like the thing I dabbled with yesterday. He would, because he's a bit more sort of religious, so he'd probably chuck holy water at it or something, or whip a crucifix out, do a Hail Mary or whatever, whatever that is. Yeah. So I will get on that. I will get to do the ghost stuff. The other thing is the markets are down, so money's a bit down. But I'm just investing in other things. I bought 2 planets yesterday, and dark planets, or dark planet. It's just building up his website. It means if people use the planet for land and it makes some money, I get something from it. I get like 2% of the yield or something. Some planet said 77, well basically it's about $77 a day. That'd be great. I've got 2 of them. I just have to see how things take off, really. Difficult to know. But yeah, I'd have to look it up, what kind of entity that was. Shadow with a skeleton inside it. Right then. This is Peter sign off. Have a great day. Speak to you soon.